Every generation gives birth to a new icon, a performer so magnetic, so naturally gifted, it feels like pure destiny. An actress whose talent makes you pause, watch in awe, and whisper to yourself, "That's real cinema." A performer whose every move feels touched by something divine. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Rachel Zegler, the actress Hollywood can't stop talking about. A once-in-a-lifetime kind of talent, the kind we're lucky enough to witness in our era. Meryl Streep might want to take a seat for this one, because Rachel's rise is redefining what it means to be Hollywood royalty. What makes her so special? A rare, almost mythical technique, the side-eye scroll. As Shakespeare once said, the eyes are the window to the soul. And Rachel's gaze speaks louder than a page of dialogue. In one subtle glance, she captures surprise, confusion, and pure magnetic charm, all at once. Now slow it down. Watch carefully. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 5 precise eye movements. That's not just acting, that's precision art. Some actors spend decades trying to master that kind of emotional control. Rachel did it at just 21 years old, and no, this isn't Macbeth or Othello. This is Snow White, a fairy tale reimagined through pure acting brilliance. It might be a story made for children, but Rachel's expressions bring it a mature depth no one expected. Look closer. There it is again. That unmistakable look. It's the kind of moment that defines careers and maybe, just maybe, secures an Oscar nomination. Because doing something incredible once could be luck, but twice? That's mastery. That's the mark of a true artist. Director Mark Webb reportedly loved the shot so much he almost trimmed out Gal Gadot just to let Rachel's presence dominate the frame. And honestly, who could blame him? Rachel doesn't just play Snow White, she owns her. Her light burns so intensely it almost outshines the film itself. A Snow White supernova, blindingly brilliant. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words. Well, this one screams charisma. 1,000 times over. There's even a hint of Keira Knightley's grace in her face, if Keira ever took a bold, self-aware comedic turn. Where past Disney princesses stayed delicate and dreamlike, Rachel brought something real. Her Snow White isn't a woman waiting for a prince. She's waiting for a purpose, or maybe a haircut. Gone are the flowing royal curls, replaced with a daring modern bob. Some might call it scandalous for a princess, others revolutionary. But somehow, that shortcut grounds her, adds realism in a world of make-believe. Now, slow that moment down, just look at that. The way her hair catches the light, cinematic perfection. If Rachel ever decided to quit acting, she could easily headline every luxury shampoo ad in existence. Her hair moves with the grace of Grace Kelly herself, elegant as a dance under chandeliers in a grand ballroom. The only recent scene that comes close? Halle Bailey's performance in The Little Mermaid. Both young stars, both redefining what Disney heroines can be, expressive, confident, and powerful. That's the face and the talent that has launched 1,000 YouTube thumbnails. At first glance, it looks enhanced, maybe CGI, right? But no, that's all her. That's Rachel Zegler. Pure talent, no filters needed. Why does she look like a character straight out of the Goonies? Because in this moment, Rachel Zegler isn't here to look glamorous. She's here to feel real. When a woman's fighting for her life, as Snow White is right now, there's no time for flawless makeup or perfect eyelashes. No foundation, no filters, just raw emotion. She's in the middle of chaos, and her unpolished face tells that story better than words ever could. The expression might look wild at first glance, but it's intentional. A deliberate, fearless choice that even the bravest lumberjack would think twice before approaching. Don't laugh too soon. Like a misunderstood Van Gogh painting, her genius only shines brighter the longer you stare. What seems chaotic at first slowly reveals layers of beauty, a starry night of emotion. And then comes the next transformation. Pure magic on screen. In one frame, she's terrified. In the next, she's completely still. Her breathing calmed, her eyes enormous and glassy. You can't tell if she's staring at the deer or if she is the deer. That's the brilliance of Rachel's craft. She doesn't just act, she becomes the moment itself. Some call it method acting, but really, there's no method here. There's only Rachel. If acting schools had any sense, they'd rename the method to the Rachel. Now watch this next sequence. The simple head-to-pillow moment. Most would treat it as filler, a routine transition. But Rachel, she turns it into art. The way she moves, slow, uncertain, thoughtful, makes you wonder what's going through the princess's mind. Is she haunted by her father's memory? Is she worried about the seven dwarfs' questionable housekeeping skills? Only Rachel could make such tiny details feel alive. Then, thunder strikes. And again, all you can do is applaud. She takes a full 3 seconds to react, not out of confusion, but precision. That pause is deliberate, a double take so human it almost feels improvised. Some joke that Snow White might be showing early onset forgetfulness, but in truth, it's Rachel layering complexity on top of simplicity. Her performance feels like a maze, intricate, unpredictable, but deeply satisfying when you reach the end. You're left wondering, does her genius ever stop surprising us? Then comes the line, the one that breaks your heart. Every syllable lands like a note in a sad melody. Since childhood, Snow White has longed for her father, the man who gave meaning to her life and rhythm to her soul. And in this single, quiet moment, Rachel captures it all. The grief, the hope, the ache of an impossible reunion, all condensed into just 7 perfect words. It's the kind of delivery that would leave even legends like Laurence Olivier speechless. And yes, if he were alive today, he'd probably say the same. And then, suddenly, we're back in motion. Snow White's running, through trees, through danger, through her fear. The acting is so intentionally wooden, it almost mirrors the forest around her. But that's the point. She's lived such a sheltered life that her terror feels innocent, almost awkwardly pure. It's not the drama of a warrior queen. It's the panic of a girl who's never faced the world. A lesser actor might have exaggerated, screamed, overplayed the fear. Rachel strips it all away, leaves nothing but simplicity and truth. If simplicity really is genius, then Rachel Zegler just redefined what genius means. Hold that frame right there. Prince Charming enters. The dwarfs huddle in the back, faces tense with uncertainty. Even they seem to know this story is about to take an unexpected turn. Because when Rachel's on screen, nothing ever goes the predictable way. And there she is again. Rachel, staring off in completely the wrong direction, her eyes wider than Windows 11 on a bad update day. But don't be fooled, this isn't confusion. This is insight. A moment that lets us peek directly into Snow White's thoughts. Because Rachel's not just worried about herself, she's worried about everyone around her. Martin Scorsese once called it absolute cinema. Well, friends, after watching Rachel, we might need a new phrase altogether. Pure Zegler. Let's play a little game. Watch her face. Just her face. See the way her eyes flicker? The tiny flutter of her lashes? The subtle twitch of her lip? It's a masterclass in restraint, so delicate yet so powerful. Then the gentle tilt of her head, the faint lift of her brow. No dialogue needed, no music cue required. We already know what it means. It's love. And gentlemen, if you ever find a woman giving you that look, congratulations, you've already won. That's not just affection. That's the I want a ring and a future together kind of look. And maybe, just maybe, she's already picturing the wedding photos. Now we arrive at the scene, the one that started it all. Perhaps the single most important moment, not just in Snow White, but in Disney history. Because right here, this is where an empire began, where the magic of animation took its very first breath. The evil queen, now disguised as a fragile old woman, tells Snow White that her one true love is trapped in the castle. It's a setup so heavy with drama that the entire story depends on it. If this scene fails, everything falls apart. So how does Rachel handle this colossal pressure? By doing absolutely nothing. And that's the genius. Any ordinary actor would have turned up the tension, widened their eyes, gasped for effect. But Rachel? She stays perfectly still, calm, controlled, because she knows real power comes from what you don't do. In acting school, they'd probably give her an F for this performance, and then quietly whisper, "That's actually A+ work." She's not over-dramatizing the setup, because she's saving everything for the bite, the moment that defines Snow White forever. And when that moment arrives, when she finally bites into the apple, it's perfection. You could film that sound 1,000 times and never get a crunch as crisp, as chilling as that one. Rachel nails it on the first take. Then comes the shot, the money shot, the collapse, the stillness, the haunting beauty of it all. This is Snow White as we've never seen her before. Fragile, tragic, almost divine. Compare it to Aurora's fainting scene in Maleficent and there's no contest. Elle Fanning fell to her knees like an overexcited fan at a BTS concert, while Rachel Zegler collapses with the realism of someone slipping into another world. Do we want our Disney heroines to be flawless fairy tale icons? Or do we want them to feel like real, imperfect people? If it's the latter, then Rachel's already rewritten the rulebook. Because for the first time, a princess doesn't feel like a fantasy. She feels human. And in that honesty, Disney itself seems to have grown up. This isn't the dreamlike perfection of old. It's emotional realism for a new generation. You wouldn't know it at first glance, but this scene is Rachel's "Are you not entertained" moment, her gladiator moment. Russell Crowe devoured entire sets in his performance. Rachel, on the other hand, gives the scene zero weight, and somehow that makes it heavier. There's no gravitas in her tone, but all the gravity in her eyes. And then, the dwarfs, determined, serious, ready for vengeance. The tension builds. But once again, Rachel twists the mood. She breaks the seriousness with something no one expected. A smile. A soft, almost innocent grin that changes everything. Why is she smiling in a moment like this? Because Rachel understands what kind of story this really is. Snow White isn't about revenge. It's about forgiveness, warmth, and innocence. The kind of goodness the world has almost forgotten. And through that smile, she reminds us this is, after all, a children's story. One where even pain is softened with kindness, a glass of milk, and a warm blanket. Cut to Gal Gadot, standing nearby. Her face says it all. That frozen smile, that silent disbelief. Because deep down, she knows she's not the star of this movie anymore. Rachel Zegler doesn't just steal scenes. She takes them, signs them, and leaves her mark on every frame. It's like she's written across the screen in big, bold letters. I don't care if you're Wonder Woman, or Meryl Streep, or the second coming of cinema itself. That Oscar? It's already mine. So, Hollywood, the question remains, when's the ceremony? Please subscribe to our channel for more information. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share your thoughts in the comments.